So as a singer-songwriter, particular artists that
Jeff, by the way, has the record for stretching $1 to furthers. And I understand that Phil's pretty good at it too. So those guys are in there. Now, I think for one of the purposes of today and tomorrow, another quality Jeff has that's so important is he's crazy in love with Mikel. He just fell head over heels for her. He kind of worships the ground she walks on. So that's a real good start. And you know, we're so thankful for Mikel, and we're looking forward to having a sixth sensational daughter join our family. Mikel is such a beautiful and talented girl, and you know, in a couple of months she'll have proof that she's a well-educated woman too. You know, I think what I like best about Mikel is her calm and peaceful and unruffled nature. In fact, I think you could say that she has a disposition and a serenity of an angel. And the reason I like those qualities is that those are the qualities of my mother. And so Jeff, through Mikel, you'll get a glimpse of your grandmother who you never knew. So I think that's very special. Now, as I look back over the years, I can say without reservation that my wedding day was the happiest day in my life. The anticipation, the excitement, the fulfillment was much more than I had ever anticipated. And so let me just give a word of advice to the two of you, because that's kind of what we're supposed to do. Is tomorrow, kind of lay back, let it flow over you. The events, the emotions, the feelings, let it sink into your mind and into your heart. And then as the years come, take some time every now and again to look back over the events of tomorrow and recall those feelings and those emotions. That day that was so special, that was so joyous, that was so fulfilling. To know for sure that the person you love loved you as much as you love them. Let me just propose a toast. I don't know if everybody has a cup of water, but I'm going to propose a toast. And everybody else doesn't have to do it. I'll do that. But I want to propose a toast to the two of them, Mikel and Jeff, who tomorrow will be one. Okay, Edie's busy over there, so I'm going to turn the time over to the Nelsons and whoever wants to start.
We are crazy about Mikel. She's right in the middle of our family. I was telling her, I think the Lord just strategically placed her right in the center of his family so that she could have maximum impact on everyone, and she really has. She's one of the most Christ-like people that I've ever known. When she was in high school, there were a group of girls that were just mean girls. And I would try to train with them on just how to, be mean back. And she just couldn't do it at all. It wasn't fair at all. And I listen to myself and think, what am I going to do less than who she is? So she's been a perfect lead, perfect child to raise. Is easy in every way. Loved the gospel from the beginning and lived it, and it's in all her actions. And Jeff is so great. he has run the gauntlet that is the Nelson family and survived. Because, like I said, we're really protective about Mikkel, and when she started talking about somebody that she was interested in immediately, it's like, who is it? What is he up to? But we've been able to have him in our home a few times and just have really enjoyed him. One memory that really stands out is last summer. He came and we were spreading manure on our garden. And Jeff's out there just, you know, as soon as they pulled up out there with the shovel, just doing this awful job.
He's a lawyer, he's used to that kind
of But he played volleyball and he was fantastic at that and just blends in, and we're so excited and thrilled to have him part of the family. So anyway, we welcome Jeff warmly into our family, and we know that this can only be better, this combination, than either of them apart. So we feel
Kelly and I cried. Anyway, so I wrote something to try to keep my mind focused about Jeff and Mikkel. It's called Jeff and Mikkel. Jeff, he has been a world traveler. Mexico, England, Europe, Dominican Republic, Israel, Washington, D.C., Hawaii, Alaska, Idaho, and Provo. He was not just a traveler, but a volunteer, intern, missionary, student, and employee. He observed all that was around him, learned from it, and used the things he learned to strengthen his life. And he always brought the Father and the Son with him to protect, teach, guide, and learn, and to love all kinds of people, all stations of life, and the beauty of the earth that never ceases to amaze him. Through it all, he has remained a humble, insightful man and a deep thinker. During the summer of his 14th birthday, Jeff announced he had a job doing landscaping at Lagoon. He worked diligently, leaving on his bike at 6:30 in the morning, and every year after that, he's had a job, saving his money, paying his tithe, and having a good time with the rest. I knew on that morning Jeff told us he had a job that he was a self-motivating young man, and he is today, with never been surprised otherwise. Jeff has dated many girls, but has never been very serious with any of them. They just don't have that spark, he would say. That was until he met Mikkel. And it was like the heavens opened and a gentle light rested on her shoulders, and he knew she was the one. It took 2 years to convince Mikkel that he was. And finally tonight we see two beautiful young people with a great future ahead of them. Okay, Mikkel. She, untouched by society's ills, her serenity beyond her years, her genuineness and humility is refreshing. A perfect complement to her spouse. She is content with the important things in life, becoming a homemaker, mother, and wife. She is an artist in her own right, a lover of nature and all things that are beautiful. The peacemaker, one who takes time to smell the roses. And she will soften Jeff's structure. Now hold on, Jeff. We will hike that hill over there. So let's stop and smell and admire the roses along the way. Their strength will be the love of the gospel and willingness to share his path together. We love you and wish you the best, and always.
Being cooked for before Godil's. I think he pretty much had a bin for himself about the age 12 and on. Is that right, Jeff? And as the youngest, I think Santa stopped visiting him around the age 12 as well. And he probably didn't have the Easter Bunny after the age 5. So we hope that you can carry those traditions on through your very youngest until he's grown. But because of the history of cooking, I think that Jeff probably is not a picky eater at all because he's, for a very long time he's prepared his own food.
No way. And that's
So I don't think he's a very picky eater, but he's probably also not a very discerning eater. But we know that Mikkel is, and we know that Mikkel appreciates good food. And I know that because I first knew that when I went to go take their photos. And afterwards, Greta, who most of the Nelson family knows, she invited us into her home to eat, to have some soup with her. And she had made this really amazing cranberry sauce. And Mikkel and I just couldn't stop eating it. It was just like nothing we'd ever had. And we were just like gushing over it. And Jeff and Greta were talking, and Mikkel and I over here just like spreading it over. This is so great. What exactly is that? I mean, it just tastes so, there's something about it that's so different. And she could just, she and I just really bonded over this cranberry sauce. And then since then, we also recognize that she really loves good food. So we in the Stott family love good food too. So what we wanted to give to you was your arsenal of tried and true recipes from the Stott family to start your marriage off and things that you can cook together. These are recipes that we have collected over the years and just some of our favorites, the ones that you keep, that you love. And I'm just going to read really quick the intro to kind of tell you. It says, "To Jeff and Mikkel on the eve of your wedding. As you know, the Stott family loves to gather around a table loaded with good food. It's where we laugh, debate, discuss, and digest the news of the day. It's the place where we communicate best. Preparing and eating healthy home-cooked meals is one of the long-standing pillars of strong families. As you begin this exciting time in your lives, we want to share with you our favorite tried-and-true recipes, dishes that will gather the family around for a special occasion, end of a weekday, or an evening dessert. Recipes to be passed on from generation to generation. But this book is only the beginning. It has been designed for you to add recipes that you'll discover over the years that earn the title Tried and True. We hope you will fill it with your own delicious finds, and as you do, that you'll pass along your favorites to us. May you always have something delicious to bring to the table." This will help you guys get started right in that area. And we love you guys. I'm so excited to have you.
It just brings so much comfort and joy to me. Mikkel and I have always been best friends. And I'm pregnant, so that's all I'm I just want to share a quick little thing about Mikkel. I remember I think I was in 5th grade and Mikkel was in 3rd grade. It was kind of a tight year. I think we just moved to Washington and we were kind of figuring out where we were going to live. And so my mom said, "We're not all going to get new stuff for school this year. And if you can use your same backpack, that would be really good." And I remember me and Kristen, were just like, I don't want to, and I don't know why it mattered, but we just wanted new stuff, probably the latest movie, on the back of your backpack. But I remember Mikkel's little voice and her little speech impediment. She just said, "I can use my Winnie the Pooh backpack again this year." And my mom just said, "All right, Mikkel's getting a new backpack. The rest of you have to just, yeah." And I remember thinking, "That's so unfair, so manipulative." But the thing is, it wasn't. Because that's what who Mikkel is. And I've remembered that for years. And something about Jeff, I knew Jeff before Mikkel did. We had some classes together, we met at BYU, and I remember that he would always come to these little parties we'd have, and that's actually how he met Mikkel eventually, but I remember that it was always really fun. He'd just show up with his roommates or friends, and I was the only one that he knew, and we didn't know each other that well, but he'd just always mingle and be so comfortable and sometimes embarrass me, so I was like, I didn't bring that guy, I don't know who he is. But he was always a lot of fun, and when we'd see each other randomly on campus, he'd always just really be so friendly to me, and sometimes you're in a situation where it's socially awkward, and you're just so grateful for that person that talks to you, and I just love that about him, and I love how he stuck with Mikkel through all this, and she's not in any way a damaged or a complicated person, but for whatever reason it took some time for her to get to a place where this is where she wanted to be, and I know without a doubt this is where she wants to be, and I know without a doubt that if Jeff hadn't given her all the space and time she needed, we wouldn't be here today, and that is a testimony as much as anything else of how much they're meant to be together. And just as a word of advice, being married to a youngest, Mikkel. They just love to be affirmed and to be, just any little thing you can do. But they just, I think that it's just such a wonderful thing that they're so confident. They're so, they're so used to kind of being the center of attention, but they're not spoiled. They're just grateful and happy people. And the more you can just kind of give Jeff all that positive attention and energy, the happier you will be. Sorry if that's awkward. You're so awesome. I'm sorry. But I love you guys.
Sentimental memory or something like that, and he does artwork and he writes in them, and they're just always just really great to look forward to a birthday card from Jeff. And now Mikkel gets all that showered attention, and he gets to be spoiled and really great cards. And I'm not very good at doing cards, admittedly, but I had the really great pleasure to put together a shower game for Mikkel's shower, and it was really fun to do, and I had a lot of fun. I sent them questions, and they had to answer these questions, and there were questions like, what were your initial impressions the first time you met, or what is your favorite memory with each other, or describe each other's style. So my card to Jeff and Mikkel is, I typed them up and for all of you to read, because they're so much fun to read. So there's Jeff about Mikkel and Mikkel about Jeff. So I'll just, if you have time, if you want to tonight, I'll just put them up there or maybe on the table or somewhere. Well, people are talking. All right, I'll pass them around. If you want to read them, great. And then maybe if they could just end up at the table and then afterwards if anybody wanted to read them. But anyway, it was so much fun. I got to know Mikkel really well. I had no idea she wanted to write children's books, which is just, really awesome. And anyway, I'm so grateful to have Mikkel in our family, because she's really kind to our children. She loves our children. She's kind to Jeff, and she's kind to us, and we're just so grateful to have her in our family. And way to go, Jeff.
Guys, that marriage is a long haul, and somebody a few turns later, somebody gave the advice that if you're ever in this situation, you should not describe marriage as being a long haul. Very clever and advice I took to heart. So I think what I was trying to convey was just the idea that marriage is not a sprint. That's a better way of thinking about it. And that it is a part of what makes marriage so great are the shared experiences you have over time. The good and the bad. And thinking back, Nadine and I are coming up on 10 years of marriage, if you can believe that. Just thinking back on all the adventures, all the places we've lived, and the injuries and trips to the hospital, and the good and the bad. When you hear people talk about how they love each other more now than they did when they met, that's why. It's because you've loved each other through all these things. And I think if you can approach marriage with that perspective, like, wow, this is going to be an adventure that we share over a long time, and be excited about that, I think it'd be a very rewarding experience. And we're super happy to have you in the family, Jeff. Mikkel seems like a great fit. Nadine and I are a great example of how opposites attract and can complement each other and balance each other out. And I see that with you guys too. We're really happy to have you in the family, Jeff. Thanks.
Difference. Probably wasn't always the best older brother. In fact, Jeff still reminds me today of a time I had some buddies, and sometimes they were kind of troublemakers, but one of them had a large garden, and one day we dug a large pit in the ground and then covered it with old corn stalks.
Don't forget the snakes.
Yeah, we had the snakes in the bottom. And Jeff, being the good little naive brother that he was, and willing to do whatever I told him, we tricked him into walking over the stalks, and of course he fell into the pit and snakes in the pit. And at the time we thought it was funny, but looking back, I feel bad about it. But as we've grown older, the age barrier has really diminished and we've become closer, and I've really started to appreciate so many qualities Jeff has, and I think he has the perfect complement of intelligence and logic and fun and creativity, and that's what I really admire in him. Carrie's kind of already touched on his creative side of the cards, but sometimes to my detriment, it's hurt me because we used to invite him over to our house every Sunday for dinner, Kelly and I, and Kelly would always ask, "So Jeff, tell us about your creative dates. What are you doing? What things have you done now?" And of course, Kelly always going to be nudging me, "Casey, pay attention to this." And Jeff always had these great dates that I'm sure Mikkel has been can attest to and has been the beneficiary of. But it's a perfect compliment to Mikkel. You were just seeing some of your work. You're so creative, and I want to second what everybody else has been saying. She's just the nicest, sweetest person. I mean, I don't know how in our family she's just gonna be the balance out of the sweetness. Sometimes we got some fun in our discussions, but we want to welcome you and Jeff, thanks for being here.
Next, and then two more sisters, and then Mikkel. So, Mikkel and I have gotten a lot closer since she's come down to go to college. Although, like as has been said, she has always kind of been everyone's little darling. So we all felt like we had this special bond with Mikkel, but we all had it. So not so special. So Mikkel and Jeff have been able to be over at our house a lot, and it's been such a privilege for me. And that really is, if you've ever been in a house with 5 little boys on a Sunday when they're like super wired, then you know that that's not exactly the first choice of most college-age young men. But Jeff has been amazingly selfless. He does the dishes every Sunday, and then when he first gets there, usually I'll be finishing up making dinner, and he'll say, "What needed help?" Or he'll be just entertaining the boys, and they just love him. And a lot of times when they're doing the dishes, they'll sing hymns together, and it's just, I know that we have not been the most welcoming. And I think it is because of just our protectiveness of Mikkel and sort of our projecting, like, oh man, what is, I don't know. I just want to say, Jeff, though, that I'm so thrilled that you're going to be part of our family, and I've come to love you so much. Mikkel, you know how much I love you, and I'm so excited to have you guys. You're going to be an amazing couple. I love how sweet and tender you are with her, Jeff, and I love how kind you are to my boys and to me and to every member of our family. You're just, I don't know why we have any sort of hard time opening our arms to you, but they're open, and I'm so glad that you guys are getting married tomorrow.
On these important occasions and go back and reflect upon important people and just the life you've led and have these moments. It's kind of what I think it's kind of a mini picture of what eternity will be when we all get there and we are surrounded by the people we love, and we get to go through our lives and say, wasn't it worth it? Wasn't it a great journey? And aren't these wonderful moments? And I think just the marriage and the wedding is kind of a glimpse of that. So it's always special to get together as family. So I was pestering Abby today a little bit about Jeff and Mikkel, because I am the oldest sister of the Stott clan, and I live the farthest away. I live out in Alexandria, Virginia, and so I have not gotten the opportunity to kind of witness the courtship firsthand. I heard a lot about it, and I would always ask questions about it, Jeff. But he's not always the most forthcoming in conversations. So I would always get the secondhand stories and things, but from day one, the family's always loved Mikkel, and several of them predicted this from the beginning. So, because it was the first time they saw Jeff ever paid this much attention to another girl. I mean, we're just used to having a couple dates, and now he's going to be the eternal bachelor. But he was really smitten right from the beginning. So we knew there was something special. So anyway, back to pestering Abby today, and she told me a story about somewhere at the beginning of their friendship or relationship or not, that they were, it was Halloween time, and they were out at what was it, the place?
Abandoned ski lodge or something?
An old abandoned ski lodge, yes, and they were going because they had been doing some fun Halloween thing. Well, their group was leaving, and Jeff noticed another couple coming into the abandoned ski house, and I hope I have the story right. And I guess he gets the idea that wouldn't it be fun to really terrify this couple? And Mikkel is like, yeah, that would be really fun. So apparently they leave the rest of the group, and they go into this random ski house and hide. And as this couple is coming down the stairs, they grab their legs from behind and terrified, scared to death, and then they laugh and love it. And I thought, I think that's the moment where Jeff knew that kindred spirit. People laugh and enjoy something like that with him. But yeah, so we love Jeff, and we embrace Mikkel and the family. She is just very, very special, and we're excited to have her in the family. We just all agree that she'll just be such a good addition and complement and really help all of us. And we kind of want to welcome you to a tradition that we started when Lily was married. She was the first in our family to be married. And as a gift from the siblings, what we have done in the past is we have chosen a picture of the Savior and then asked you to frame it, and then I usually write on the back of that, because we each of us have this picture of the Savior in our home and try to keep it as a focal point as the beginning of a marriage, and the Savior is always the heart of the home. And if you have him there, you will always have a happy home, no matter what the circumstances. If he's your focus, your marriage will be strong, your relationship is strong, and your family will be strong. And so our gift for you is the picture of the Savior. Now, because you are the last Jeff, we often forget to do things. And I do not have the print here. but just something, but just wanted to remind you that that will be coming. And as you continue your relationship and continue down that path of the covenants that you make tomorrow, that you will really have a wonderful life together.
The sister.
Sister Jeff.
And I am the oldest niece of the small family, to the brothers and sisters. And I remember when I first met Mikkel, me and my little cousin decided to do an interview on her. And we did that with some of his girlfriends before too. And the first thing, so we were interviewing her, and then we were different questions, like what's your favorite color, what's your favorite food, what do you like about Jack, and everything. And then I remember, what's your favorite women, and I don't know how we got that far. And she said it was great, and I was like, wow, they are a perfect match. And I just remember Kelly being really nice. She's one of the nicest persons I've ever met. And I just remember one story about Jeff when I was a little kid, I think I was 5. We were coming visiting, and Jeff worked at Target. And we were visiting, and I just got in these Winnie the Pooh stand up, you stand and you buy them shoes. And I always thought those were the awesomest shoes ever. And I came home and I was like, Jeff, look at my new shoes. And I remember most adults, when I showed them something, they're just like, oh great, that's so cute, and then we just walk away. But Jeff was like, oh, that is so awesome, stand them again. I was like, oh. And then we were just running around the room, lighting them up. He's like, turn up the light. And I remember that. I was like, oh, I just remember that moment because it was really nice. And I just think that they're a really great couple. Both balance each other out. As you said, opposites attract. And
It seems a little embarrassing for the youngest
kid to kind of stand up. But I really just want to let Mikkel know that I'm a sister left, and this family is just really touching me. Because Mikkel's always been there for me. And I know that they're going to have a great relationship and that they're going to be really happy together. And so I don't have any gift, but I really like to say that I'm just really faithful about this whole thing and how it's all going to work out tomorrow. And that everything is going to be perfectly fine. That's pretty much what I have to say.
I'm Eric Lindley. My name is Todd. I joined the Stott family it's been almost 18 years ago now, so almost half of my life has been with the Stotts. And I was reflecting on things that were said today, and things that really struck me were that opposites attract, and that Mikkel is really, really good. I thought about that. I thought I wouldn't say much more. No, here's what I think of. In a marriage, we've heard it might be a long haul, or it might not be. But there is one thing that you need. You need a really strong bond. Absolutely get through a lot of struggles, and Lynn and I have had a few struggles in our life. But what I think is wonderful is the struggles are a little bit easier when you set a great foundation. And the foundation comes through a lot of building it early on. And I think you two are doing a great job of that. And I want to say one thing really quick. Mikkel is able to endure a lot of sarcasm. There's more sarcasm that comes from me probably than just about anyone you'll ever meet. And Mikkel takes it like a champ all the time, and she'll go after the jaw on myself with great regularity. So she's a champ of that and will fit into the family really well. But I do want to say this. The two of you really, really have power of love. Not just for each other, but just in life. And that's a wonderful thing to have. When you come visit our home, and you walk in and you're building blocks, and you're building the temple out of the blocks in our front room, and the kids are getting all excited about turning a little crazy little block into a tree. Oh, I can't believe that's a tree. Yeah, it makes sense. On the temple grounds. Yeah, that's the temple. The spot. That's Moroni. And you're going through this. But what we feel whenever we're with you, despite the sarcasm that's coming out, is you guys have love. In a great way. In the way that, like Jenna said, you have a picture of the Savior, the focus of your home. Love is there with the two of you. Not just for yourselves and each other, but you have that foundation of love that will carry you through all kinds of struggles because love conquers all. I just want to say, I'll remember that always. When I think of you two, I'll think of how much warmth and happiness you bring to everybody you come in contact with, and I look forward to seeing you through your life, absolutely. And congratulate you on the steps you're taking to tomorrow, and wish you well.
It's been great having Mikkel and Jeff over at our house. I feel Mikkel really feels like a younger sister to me, and Jeff, really, I consider you my friend. Not as opposed to a brother, but and I thought that there are a few things that come to mind for me. The other day I was telling my mom that I said, Mikkel's getting married this weekend, and my mom said, "Oh, is she marrying that really nice guy that I met?" And I thought, first of all, I wasn't sure if she had met Joe. Yeah. And that it was the person she was thinking. But I thought that was really appropriate. Because Jeff has been in our house a lot, and he's always been really nice to everybody. And always made us feel just really comfortable. And even though he embarrassed me when we played tennis, he was really nice about it. Didn't rub it in. And Mikkel, she's, I don't know if anybody loves my kids more, apart from my wife and I, more than Mikkel. And I think that's quite the tribute to her. One other thing about Jeff that was kind of this dumb little thing, but I thought it was interesting. We watched this TV show together, the four of us, and a show called Shark Tank, and about these guys who are starting businesses, and there was a guy who's starting a business about you could pay him to draw a cat for you. It sounds absurd. I'm kind of dancing already. So anyway, Jeff, he did it. He paid the $10 or whatever, and had this guy draw a cat for us. And again, it's kind of a dumb little thing, but I thought it was thoughtful. It was kind of funny, but it was a cool thing. And I wasn't as prepared with the gifts like a lot of you guys have been, but I have this napkin with some tortilla chips.